Hi everyone! Have you ever been to a handcraft shop reselling a bunch of crochet products? Or have you ever thought start a small business for your crochet? This video I'm gonna show you what is behind the crochet business. I'm a crocheter living in North China. I have 1.5 year crochet experience, and I try to find if there is a way to make some pocket money half year ago. In this half year, I've searched a lot of info of how to make money with crochet on Chinese social media. The good news is there is way. The bad news is it's the worst business ever. Why do I say so? There are two ways to earn money. One is be creator on social media, the other is through middlemen. Since in China we don't have a proper app for selling handmade stuffs like Etsy, and Etsy is prohibited here. Most people use social media to get profits, selling it on social media or second-hand app. In this case, crocheter decide the price. But buying handmade stuff is still under the radar in China, and most people can't afford too high price. You can only sell small scale of crochet or patterns to make sure your time cost is not too much, and your profits would be a little bit uncertain. And it's very troublesome to protect copyrights of your pattern. Always having people copying designs and patterns from social media and selling it on Etsy. Just be careful. The second way is through middlemen. Those people gather a bunch of crocheters and buy crochet with very low price. They sell it to overseas shops with normal local price to earn big-ask spread, similar to the system with Temu and Shein. Well, as we all know, this too has some problem with employment practices. But in handmade industry, the situation is even worse. Let's count how much we can get per hour from middlemen. My crochet speed is a little bit slow. I can crochet 50-gram yarns in around 2 hours and a half without rest. To make a small amigurumi, I need to spend 30 minutes to 1 or 2 hours or even more time, depends on the size. Also, I searched the lowest salary per hour in Laos as a standard, and found each province has its own rules. I found a government page from my place saying in 2024, October 1st, stipulated the lowest price of part-time job is 21 RMB per hour. However, when looking through job hunting app, I found KFC here is hiring people 10 to 20 RMB per hour, which is already illegal, and it's not uncommon. The middlemen usually hunt crocheters on social media, second-hand app, or plugin app on WeChat. For example, this plugin app provides services for middlemen order products in bulk from crocheters. I counted the salary per hour from post. Here I choose with the highest price, and we can see the middleman is buying wukong with 1,760 RMB per 50. Which means each wukong price is 35.2 RMB. You need to work 1 hour and 41 minutes to finish it to reach legal lowest salary. From my experience, I may need 7 to 9 hours to finish it. Then my salary will be 4 or 5 RMB per hour. I can't even buy a meal if I work only 1 hour with this hourly wage in China. The more time you spend, the less money you get. And the bunny price is 11.1 each. Blue dog is 30.1 RMB, which means you only have 37 minutes to finish to reach the lowest salary standard. And of course, it's impossible to finish that much work in time. Plus, most of them don't pay for any materials or shipping. But the most important, during the work time, they don't provide any contract, neither insurance. Now, there is a question. If has a way can protect crocheters' rights? To answer this question, we need to know what social relationship between crocheters and middlemen. Seems like crocheters is selling crochet products to middlemen. It comes to buyer-seller relationship. According to the definition of buyer-seller relationship, the process whereby the seller transfers ownership of the subject matter to the buyer, and the buyer pays the agreed-upon price. Basically, it's a relation when you selling a product and the people buy your product. However, in this case, the middleman is asking crocheters to crochet for them, not just buying the product. So I don't think it's belong to buyer-seller relationship. There is another option, which is services relations. According to the definition, a service relationship is a legally binding arrangement between a worker and a service recipient. Established, in short, which means people pay for a work or service. Obviously, those middlemen asking crocheter provide yarn purchasing, hand making, and shipping service. However, in Chinese law, remuneration in service relationships is not mandatorily bound by minimum wage standards. If you work for them and think your pay is unfair, your only option is to report it to the labor authorities, but only if you've got solid proof. However, the hard thing is most of the middlemen are hidden very well. We barely can know any information of their factory or if they are a legal company. This enables them to skillfully circumvent labor regulations through informal employment arrangements. It's very hard to ask help from law, not even talk about without a work contract. In my point of view, this business is a legal gray area. Always have crocheters in China complaining about the middleman lowered price significantly to stay competitive in the global market. But still has people do this work. The labor problem is nothing new in China. For example, the famous 996, work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. Or discuss the mandatory overtime. Employees are encouraged to work extra hours to meet KPIs. In 2023, the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security issued a statistical bulletin, detailed progress in workforce development and social welfare systems. It says throughout the year, labor and personal dispute mediation organizations and arbitration agencies at all levels in China handled a total of 3.85 million cases, involving 4.082 million workers. And in reality, it would be way more people have problems but couldn't get a fair solution because a lot of reasons. Now let's talk about copyright. Copyright violation is also very common in every field in China. It also might happen not only in luxury products and crochet, but any commercial product that exists and popular. I guess you may ask what's our law for? Of course, the law exists, but it's just hard. From January 2025 to April, in government data website, nationwide administrative case filings for patent infringement disputes amounted to merely 5,895 cases. Here is a copyright registration fee schedule for creative works. If you work as a company, this price is reasonable. But for autonomous, especially in handicraft, and keep creating weekly or monthly, the cost is a little bit high. Also, the procedures of filing a lawsuit is troublesome. I found a crochet creator sharing her experience on social media with copyright infringement case involving crochet works. She said it's the ever first case in China. This creator cost 1 year and finally won the lawsuit. In the precondition that she kept a complete chain of evidence. A lot of Chinese people hold a dismissive attitude toward handicrafts and manufacturing workers. They don't even show respect to the job neither. For them, any beautiful little things can produce in EU from those people has lowest education. It's true that the industry has significantly boosted trade between China and the global market, But behind it, the problem of human rights is huge, especially for handicraft. When we buy in a handicraft, we are not paying for the physical material, the product. We are paying for someone's creativity, effort, and a piece of their life. Without this meaning, handicraft just becomes cold and a dead soul. It becomes a way to exploit laborers.